students, good morning. So we were doing the explanation of the chapter that is windstorms and cyclones, right? So last class we had done about the destruction caused by cyclones. We were doing about what kind of destruction a cyclone can cause. So let's continue. So a cyclone is known by different names in different parts of the world. So I told you that cyclone, it originates in the water bodies, right? A cyclone always starts in the water bodies and it's known by different names in different parts of the world. It is called a hurricane in the American subcontinent. In Philippines and Japan, it is called typhoon. So a cyclone is called hurricane in America, but in Philippines and Japan, it is called typhoon. In India, we call it cyclone, but it is the same. Okay, so just the names are different. Next, let's do about tornadoes. Okay, let's study about tornadoes. In our country, they are not very frequent. A tornado is a dark funnel-shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground. Okay, so what is a tornado? Tornado is not very common in India. Okay, in India, it is not very common. Cyclone is common in India since we have huge water bodies in India. So definitely cyclone is more common. But tornado, it is not very frequent. Okay, it is not very common. So tornado is actually, it is like a dark funnel-shaped cloud. Okay, it starts from the land, it goes up to the sky. It is like a huge funnel. Okay, a dark funnel which is filled up of different gases. Okay, so that is a tornado. And a tornado, when you can see a tornado approaching you, okay, from a huge distance. Okay, you must have seen in the films, in the movies and all. Right, so in English movies and all, you must have seen that how a dark funnel-like thing is coming towards you and it will destroy everything that comes in its path. Okay, that is a tornado. So most of the tornadoes, they are weak. A violent tornado can travel at speeds about 300 km per hour. So you can imagine the speed. The speed is very, very huge. It is around 300 km per hour. And most of the tornadoes, they are not so strong, they are weak. Okay, like cyclones, they are huge. Okay, they are very destructive. But tornadoes, they are not that destructive. Okay. Yeah, so this is a tornado. You can see it starts from the ground, it goes up to the sky and it originates in the land. Tornado is something that originates in the land. It doesn't originate in water. Cyclone only originates in water. Okay, so tornado is caused when, warm air, it rises up. Okay, huge amount of air, it rises up, and then there is rain coming down, plus there is the center, low pressure area center that we have seen in case of cyclone. The same mechanism, but the only difference is tornado originates in the land. It doesn't originate in water, but cyclone, it originates in the water bodies. Okay, so the whole coastline of India is vulnerable to cyclone. Vulnerable means prone. Okay, cyclones basically, they are caused in the coastal areas more frequently. Why? Because water bodies are there, so near the water bodies only you have cyclones originating, particularly the east coast. Okay, west coastline is also vulnerable, but more vulnerable or more prone is the east coast. The west coast of India is less vulnerable to cyclonic storms, both in terms of intensity and frequency. So we have Orissa in the eastern part. Okay, so that is why you will find that Orissa is mostly attacked by cyclones. Kolkata also, you had Amphan recently, right? So Kolkata is also on the eastern side. So eastern side is more vulnerable, more prone to cyclone compared to the western side. Okay, now effective safety measures. What kind of safety measures can be followed, okay, before a cyclone approaches? A cyclone forecast and warning service. There has to be a cyclone forecast, that cyclone is approaching. Okay, a kind of forecast should be there, and there should be a warning service. Rapid communication of warnings to the government agencies, the ports, fishermen, ships, and to the general public. Basically, the government, the ports. Ports means the ships and all are there, isn't it? Those are called the ports. Fishermen, ships. Why? Because they are basically related to water, and we know that cyclone originates in water. So they have to be warned first, then the general public. Okay. Construction of cyclone shelters in cyclone-prone areas. Wherever there are more cyclone, like Orissa. Orissa is very, very much vulnerable to the cyclone. So you should construct, government should construct their cyclone-prone, cyclone shelters. Okay, so that the people can go inside the shelters whenever there is a huge cyclone approaching. Okay. And administrative arrangements for moving people fast to safer places. So arrangements has to be done so that the people are moved fast to the safer places. Okay. Now action on the part of people, what we should do. So these are the works of the government. Okay, so they have to do, but what is our job? We should not ignore the warnings issued by the meteorological department through TV, radio or newspapers. Never ignore whatever warnings are given. Okay, whether it is TV or radio or newspapers. Never think that, oh, it is false, cyclone will not come. Yeah, maybe cyclone will not come, but there is chance also that cyclone can come. So we should not ignore the messages. We should pay attention. We should make necessary arrangements to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles to safer places. We have to make necessary arrangements to shift everything to the safer places. Okay, whether it is our household goods or domestic animals or vehicles. Avoid driving on roads through standing water as floods may have damaged the roads. Okay, so whenever there is cyclone, there is heavy rainfall. Okay, so whenever there is heavy rainfall, there will be floods. So never drive through the roads where there is water. Why? Because you never know, the floods may have damaged the roads. Keep ready the phone numbers of all the emergency services like police, fire brigade and medical centers. These should be with you. Phone numbers of police, the fire brigade, medical centers, so that whenever there is emergency, you can call for help. Okay. Now some other precautions if you are staying in a cyclone hit area. Like suppose you are staying in Orissa, where every time cyclone is coming. So what are the precautions that you should follow? Do not drink water that could be contaminated. Always store drinking water for emergencies. So always there has to be drinking water stored in your home, so that whenever there is cyclone and floods everywhere, you have no water to drink. Yeah, all the water is contaminated. At least you can get fresh water for drinking. Do not touch wet switches and fallen power lines. Very, very important. The wet switches, okay, because you may get electric shock. Why? Because water is a good conductor of electricity, as well as fallen power lines. Okay, suppose here and there may be certain power lines falling. Never stamp on them or never touch them, because you might get electrocuted. Do not go out just for the sake of fun. Whenever there is cyclone, never try to go out and be very, dare to do something. Okay, because cyclone is not something that you should go and dare. Okay, so always stay inside. Do not pressurize the rescue force by making undue demands. Some people are there, whenever they come for help, the rescue force comes, they will make undue demands. Suppose they are giving you 2 water bottles, they will ask for more. So never make undue demands. Suppose they are giving you 4 biscuit packets, you will ask for more. Don't do it, because everyone should get. So if you make undue demands, rest of the people might not get. Okay? Cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. Very important. Cooperation has to be there, help has to be there. Okay, otherwise it is very, very difficult. So we'll continue in the next slides. Thank you.